The kingdom had been in trouble for many years. Its people were suffering from poverty, famine, and disease. The king had tried his best to help his people, but his efforts had been in vain. The kingdom's coffers were empty, and the king had no way to replenish them. He had no choice but to look for help from outside sources. He had to find a way to restore his kingdom to its former glory and save his people from their plight. Princess was out walking one day when she stumbled across an old, dusty book. As she opened it, she noticed that it contained a detailed description of the kingdom's current state of turmoil. With a heavy heart, she realized that the kingdom was in dire need of help. She closed the book and decided to speak with the king about her discovery. The princess faced numerous challenges on her journey, but she was determined to succeed. With courage and perseverance, she overcame each obstacle and achieved many triumphs. She fought off fierce beasts, outsmarted cunning foes, and won the favor of powerful allies. She discovered hidden secrets and uncovered the truth of her kingdom's past. She gained wisdom and strength, and eventually, she found her way home. The princess' homecoming was a joyous occasion. After a long journey full of challenges and triumphs, she was welcomed home with open arms. Her family and friends were overjoyed to see her safe and sound. She was showered with love and admiration as they celebrated her return. She was embraced by her loved ones, and they shared stories of her journey and the many lessons she had learned along the way. Princess had come home a changed person, and her newfound strength and courage were celebrated by all. Her homecoming was a moment of joy and celebration, and the princess was welcomed with open arms. The king, seeing the distress of his people, called for the princess to come before him. He asked her to use her knowledge of the land and creatures to help the kingdom. He begged her to use her wisdom to find a way to save the kingdom from the troubles it faced. He pleaded with her to find a way to restore the peace and prosperity they had once known. The king was desperate for the princess to find a solution, and he implored her to do whatever it took to save the kingdom. The princess took a deep breath and thought carefully about the king's request. She knew that it was a difficult decision, but she also knew that it was the right thing to do. She looked up at the king and said, "Yes, I will help you. I will do whatever it takes to save the kingdom." With that, the princess set off on her journey, determined to find a way to restore the kingdom's prosperity. The princess was filled with fear as she contemplated the task ahead of her. She was not sure she had the strength to save the kingdom from its troubles. She was overwhelmed by the enormity of the challenge and the consequences of failure. But she was determined to do whatever it took to bring peace and prosperity back to her people. She knew she had to find a way to restore the kingdom's lost glory. The princess was inspired by the stories of brave warriors who had gone before her. She heard tales of those who had ventured into the unknown, facing danger and uncertainty with courage and determination. She was determined to be just as brave and fearless as they had been, and to face her own fears head on. With this newfound inspiration, she began to plan for her journey. The princess began to make preparations for her journey. She gathered her belongings and began to plan her route. She consulted with her trusted advisors and made sure to take all necessary precautions. She also asked for advice from her friends and family and readied herself for the adventure ahead. She was determined to face her fears and prove her courage. With her preparations complete, she was ready to embark on her journey. The princess had made her decision. After much deliberation, she had come to the conclusion that she would take the risk and go forth on her own. She was determined to face her fear and prove to herself that she was strong enough to overcome it. She gathered her courage and set out on her journey, knowing that whatever the outcome, she would have the satisfaction having taken the first step towards her freedom. The princess had set out on her journey, determined to face whatever challenges lay ahead. She was prepared to face the unknown and to overcome any obstacles that she encountered. She had faith in her own capabilities and was ready to take on whatever the world had to offer. With a brave heart, she ventured forth, never once looking back. The princess faced many challenges on her journey. She encountered fierce storms, treacherous terrain, and hostile creatures. She had to rely on her wits and courage to survive, and she often had to make tough choices. Despite all the obstacles, she never gave up and kept pushing forward. She was determined to reach her destination and fulfill her destiny.
If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update from us. We'll be bringing you more exciting stories and videos like this one. See you next time.